18 companies collapsing with huge losses. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. I want to have a look at this article written by Sarah Sharples from news.com.au about the continuing collapse of ProBuild and all of the other companies that are involved in this mess. This is going to be tough, frankly, for a lot of the, not just the employees, but for the subbies. Here's the thing, if you're an employee of one of these big companies, you may lose out on your super, you may lose out on your holiday, all of this stuff. This is why one of the advantages of being a contractor is hopefully they're not holding a huge bank of long service leave and holiday leave for your own good. You're building it up yourself. It's kind of a give-take. Anyway, let's have a look at this. Australian building giant ProBuild collapses after racking up losses. 18 building businesses, including one of Australia's major construction companies, ProBuild, have dramatically collapsed. 18. Just think about how many subbies. A total of 18 building businesses, including one of Australia's major construction companies, have collapsed after their South African parent company pulled all its financial support. Deloitte has been appointed as administrators to handle the many businesses folding, which are part of the WHO Australia group, while 750 employees and thousands of contractors are also impacted, with many padlocked out of sites across the country. It came after parent company WHO South Africa announced it was withdrawing any financial assistance after injecting millions to prop them up as it grappled with government's hardline stance with handling the pandemic. So is it the government's intervention? Dan Andrews has killed this business, particularly in Victoria. What do you reckon? They're not the only builder who are facing tough financial times. I've been speaking to many people in the industry. I've seen other big builders where they've incurred significant losses, and just the challenges of maintaining the projects with all of the government restrictions, red tape, limitations, and limited numbers. This is part of the impact of Dan Andrews, of all of his lockdowns in Victoria. You tell me, how will the voters respond? I mean, how many of the people on the construction sites are proud unionists voting in Labor again and again and again? So, the WHO Australia had boasted an annual revenue of $1.4 billion and has 18 major commercial and public sector projects in development, which now have a cloud hanging over them. These include 13 projects in Victoria, 3 in New South Wales, 1 in Queensland, and 1 in Western Australia. So, yeah, this is the Victorian government's COVID response clearly having a huge impact on this company. I'd bet a carton on it. Everyone, I definitely would bet a carton on it. ProBuild in particular has been working on a number of high-profile projects around the country worth billions. The parent company said it had bailed out the Australian arm of the business with up to $183 million over the past 4 years. It added that the injection of funds had severely depleted its resources, and the losses from the Australian arm would have a significant effect on WBHO's financial performance. With effect from the 22nd of February 2022, the company will no longer provide financial assistance to ProBuild holding company WBHO Australia, WBHO said in a statement. It blamed COVID-19 restrictions and lockdowns for some costly project delays. The Australian government's hardline approach to managing COVID-19 through a combination of border restrictions, snap lockdowns, and mandatory work-from-home regulations for many sectors has had a considerable impact on property markets as well as other industries such as the leisure industry, WBHO said. There you go. See, this is the thing. It's taking these lockdowns, these restrictions, there is an economic consequence to them. We've discussed this. Epidemiologists were quite critical, at least years ago, when the same arguments were made for lockdowns as a strategy for mitigating a flu pandemic. And sure, I know COVID isn't the flu. There are differences. But their main concerns and criticisms for that was regarding the economic impact. Now we're seeing an example of this. Of particular concern is the project delivery capability of the business, which has been negatively affected by unplanned COVID-19 restrictions, the contractual environment, and the increased difficulty in raising guarantee facilities necessary to secure new work. The protracted effect of COVID-19 has delayed any meaningful economic recovery and procurement activity in Australia. ProBuild confirmed the local arm of the business was abruptly informed by its parent company that support was being withdrawn. "We are caught up in a set of circumstances not of our own making," a ProBuild spokesman said. "We are working closely with the administrator on a number of plans to protect our clients, subcontractors, and employees. The ProBuild brand is strong and we intend to keep it that way. We have several options for raising the necessary capital to continue as a premium Australian building company. These will all be pursued." Administrator Deloitte has said it looked to secure a new owner for the business and will be commencing a sale and recapitalisation process as a cloud hangs over dozens of ProBuild projects around Australia. What about the hippie guy? The hippie computer guy who wanted to buy AGL and shut down all the coal mines. Why doesn't he buy ProBuild? That'd be good. Keep Australians employed. You know, why doesn't he do that? He's got billions of dollars he wants to friddle away on, vanity projects. As a cloud hangs over ProBuild, yes. On Wednesday evening, tradies were called off work sites across the country, with workers seen pulling equipment and tools from project sites. Tradies were photographed collecting tools from Cbus Properties 443 Queen Street project in Brisbane. In Melbourne, at the Far East Consortium's Wideside Place project site, which is a $2 billion four-tower development, subcontractors were seen driving in their private vehicles to collect tools and personal gear. The shocking collapse reportedly came after a disastrous high-rise project dragged the company into massive debt. ProBuild raked in $1.3 billion in revenue and made $4 million profit last year. Just think about that. $1.3 billion in revenue, and you're only pulling $4 million in profit. But the 443 Queen Street project in Queensland, which involves high-quality apartments, has hemorrhaged as much as $120 million. Okay, so their profit was $4 million, and we divide that. They're losing 30 times their profit on this one job. That ain't good. Why would you hold on to the company? The property features 264 luxury residential apartments, but with delays and technical issues, it is already well behind its late 2021 completion date. Originally heralded as Brisbane's first premium subtropical residential tower, with views across the city, the building's future now hangs in the balance. The riverfront complex has cost the company's Queensland arm, PCA Queensland, more than $28 million, with sources estimating it could be up to $120 million. ProBuild's parent company has also raised concerns about the troublesome Westgate Road Upgate project in Sydney. It has forecast a loss of $161 million by June last year, and WBHO was forced to fork out $141 to ensure completion. ProBuild Constructions Australia reportedly injected $15 million into the company last year as part of a recapitalisation to combat Queensland's division's losses. Deloitte's lead voluntary administrator, Sal Algeri, said options will be assessed to preserve value, while it will also engage closely with creditor groups and other stakeholders, including clients, employees, unions, suppliers, contractors, and subcontractors. The COVID-19 pandemic has created challenging trading conditions for many businesses, and for WBHO Australia, which has also been impacted by certain loss-making projects. Our immediate focus will be on undertaking an urgent assessment of the entity's financial positions and work with key stakeholders to stabilise the business and projects where possible. The loss of ProBuild will send shockwaves through the construction industry, as it was one of only a handful of major builders such as Multiplex, Lendlease, CPB, and John Holland that can complete large-scale projects. ProBuild's current list of projects includes the Victorian Police Headquarters, which is 46 levels high, pharmaceutical giant CSL's global headquarters in Melbourne, the Exchange at Curtin University alongside the Greenland Centre, which is Sydney's tallest residential building. Other projects include a 28-level building, which will be Melbourne's tallest vertical campus for Victoria University, a 65-level residential building in Melbourne called UNO, and Caulfield Village, which was to feature multiple campus-style towers, delivering over 430 built-to-rent apartments. This is going to have effects through all of the eastern states. In Sydney, and just think, there are going to be hundreds of people working on these jobs, and subbies and businesses, and then who all the people the subbies owe money to. This could be a real mess. In Sydney, ProBuild was also in charge of a landmark project in Darling Harbour, a 30-storey building comprising a hotel and serviced apartments, state-of-the-art IMAX theatre, retail and entertainment spaces, and 10,000 square metres of renewed and enhanced public domain. While ProBuild directly employs just over 750 staff, there are fears for the impacts on thousands more working as subcontractors. One worker told The Australian that people have been left hundreds of thousands of dollars out of pockets due to unpaid bills. That hits close to home. It's going to run in the millions, what tradies are owed, they said. Last year, the federal government blocked the $300 million sale of the company to China State Construction Engineering Corporation, citing national security grounds. Before the collapse, WBHO had flagged that it would withdraw ProBuild from the Queensland and WA markets by the end of the 2022 financial year. It was the company's intention to see some decline in the order books as we reduce our exposure to high-risk projects, it told the Australian Financial Review. However, sourcing acceptable projects has been made more difficult with procurement activity and the number of available projects being impacted by COVID-19. The South African parent company also complained about regulators blocking its efforts to sell the Australian arm, as adding to the company's demise. There you go. This is the government intervening in the market, everyone. During 2020, the company entered into negotiations with a third party to sell the ProBuild business. This transaction was progressed to agreed terms by December 2020, but approval from the Australian Foreign Investment Review Board was not obtained, WBHO said. Following on from this, WBHO implemented its strategy to downsize the business and consider other sales options, which proved fruitless due to concerns potential acquirers had as to the impact of the regulatory approach to COVID. So this is sovereign risk here in Australia driving away international investors from buying a huge construction company in our country. And now everyone's going to lose out. The South African company's share price plunged more than 27% after the collapse was revealed. Let's have a talk about this one, guys. This is a sad situation. There are no winners here. I wonder if the company was sold, and I know it was to a Chinese-owned company, if we'd still be in this mess. What do you think the subbies and tradies, what do you think they care about? They don't give a shit if they're working for South Africans or for Chinese. They just want to get paid. They want their money coming in so they can pay their mortgage and keep a roof over their heads for their families. So just remember that. This is what happens when the government steps in to protect them. This is market intervention happening right here. The other question is, why aren't Australians lining up? Where's the Australian investment arms to buy these type of companies? Well, no, all our Australian billionaires, they want to buy, coal plants and shut them down. Shut down our power stations. That's gonna make it even better to manufacture a build here when we've got no bloody reliable power in this country. It's just becoming a joke. I feel sorry for the tradies that are putting up with this. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're a fan of the channel and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. Sign up for SelfWealth or Stake. Use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can even buy our merch from HeiseSays on our website. Thanks for watching. I want to point you to this previous video about this collapse here with ProBuild going under. Take care, guys. Have a great day. And I'll see you next time, hopefully, with some better news. Bye for now.